arranca esta última parte del programa, así arranca el excepto la fábrica del día de hoy, la segunda parte del programa de hoy, en donde analizamos, repensamos, redefinimos todo lo que tiene que ver con la industria de la música, esta industria de la música que hace un puñadito de años nada más necesitaba de barcos, de aviones, de containers para distribuir ya sea discos, ya sea filmografía, ya sea lo que sea, todos esos cambios, todas esas revoluciones, todas esas marchas para atrás, para adelante, para el medio, es lo que vamos a debatir en este programa y en esta sección en donde estamos conectados con los amigos de GOO. De ellos son de Reino Unido. Raulo, cuando quieras arrancar, los tenemos a los 4. Estoy muy contento por tenerlos a los 4. Decíselos, por favor.
Ahí está, sí. Thanks for your time. You are really welcome here. Can we check the sound? You hear us?
Yes.
Perfect. Everything is perfect. We are live. We are going to start with the interview. So please tell us your full name, where are you from, and how old are you?
I'm Sam. I'm from Keighley, and I'm 29.
Yeah, I'm Bryn. I'm 37, also from Keighley.
I'm Tanisha. I'm from Keighley, and I'm 29.
I'm Kurt. I'm 39. And I'm also from Keighley. And we are GOO.
El nombre es GOO, perfecto. I'm going to make a little translation for the Spanish listeners. Son la banda GOO, son del Reino Unido, están en Keighley. Sorry my accent. Keighley. Sí. Bueno, es West Shortside y son del Reino Unido. Tienen entre 29 y 39 años, así que 29, 37, 29 y 39. Hay una mezcla de edades ahí importante. And please, Manu is really happy to meet you because he loves the sound of the guitar. So we are going to talk about that later. So please tell us, which is your first memory of you listening to music?
For me, I vividly remember listening to a lot of stuff in the car, to somewhere called Birmingham in the UK, where I have family. So my dad would put on like mixtapes that he'd made, and a lot of stuff like Velvet Underground and Belle and Sebastian and Sex Pistols and stuff. But I always remember those journeys as a kid, going to Birmingham to meet the family and listening to songs on the way.
With Sex Pistols?
Yeah.
Right.
Big Sex Pistols fan.
Excelente. And the others?
Yeah, I remember the Clash on this this videotape my dad had called Sounds of the 70s, and had Clash playing Tommy Gun, and that was like the best thing ever, best thing I'd heard. Yeah, love that. So that got me into punk.
Yes.
I think for me, I got into playing guitar when I was really little, and it was just from my dad walking around the house like whistling songs. He taught me like English Rose on the guitar and stuff. And I remember him getting really excited showing me Nirvana, but the first song he showed me was Tourette's by Nirvana. I was very young, so I didn't understand it. And he was like, "He's so angry," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't get it."
Wow. And the other guy.
For me, yeah, again, it was my parents. My mum was very much into classic rock. A little less cool, she was into more like Bon Jovi and Nazareth. But my dad was very much into like rock and roll. He loves Elvis Presley, Roy Orbison, Johnny Cash. So I had two different experiences, and then I kind of found something in the middle when I was a teenager.
Wow. And sorry the question, but why do you think that your parents listen to that music?
They're cool.
Yeah. Because I imagine like in some cases like they were around when those bands were around, so they kind of experienced it firsthand and then listened to it when they got older and had kids, and then just kind of, passed on to great music. Yeah.
And sorry the question, I'm living now in Barcelona and Manu in Buenos Aires, but the Sex Pistols were in the radio in the 80s, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a really big difference. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now I can understand a lot of things. Bueno, muy interesante lo que nos acaba de decir. No le pregunté nunca eso, me salió porque todos vienen de un género medio parecido. ¿Cómo?
¿Por qué te sorprende que suene en la radio?
Boludo, porque tienen padres que escucharon los Sex Pistols en el momento. ¿Entendés? O sea, es raro, o sea, no... nosotros como que adoptamos. I'm fighting with Manu now about music, ¿no? On the radio, sí. Pero acuérdate que nosotros no. Ahí te das cuenta lo que taparon, porque digamos la música más rock and rollera de protesta casi no se escuchaba en la radio en Argentina, o sea, que es lo que le critican siempre a Charly García. Estaba sonando Sui Generis y Palito Ortega y estaba sonando Sex Pistols en Reino Unido, boludo. O sea, ahí empiezan a haber un montón de cambios que después llegaron un poquito más tarde a Argentina, por suerte. Llegaron.
Vamos con la banda, después te voy a pelear.
No, bueno, sí, después nos vamos a matar. No, because we are fighting with Manu. I'm a big fan of punk music. And Manu, not so. Manu likes more like metal stuff, and I like metal and punk. A lot of punk.
I have a Franz Zappa tattoo. I have a Franz Zappa tattoo.
That kind of things. Manu is more elitista. It's more like un poco. Está bien. Perdón, sigo. And can you tell us which was your first instruments and how do you get them?
I think for us three it was guitar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For you it was drums.
Drums, yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of like getting to do it, I think it was just like one of many things that I tried as a kid, and it was the only thing that really I stuck with, you know. So in the early stages of playing, it can be very frustrating. I'm pretty sure I stopped for about a year just because I was not getting anywhere, and I think that was through going to like proper lessons. I didn't really like the homework of having to learn a song for the next week, so I did that for a bit and then kind of fell out of love with it, and then just picked it back up again and just read tabs on and just went online, and there was a family friend who kind of came around and taught me guitar. Well, not said taught me, just kind of showed me a few bits, and then just said, go off, you know some chords, and then from then on it's just progression, like anything, I guess.
But the instrument, the guitar, you tell your parents, I want a guitar, something like that, or someone gave to you the guitar?
Yeah, we were. Yeah, I said, please, mummy, can I have a guitar? and I think one Christmas I got like a starter pack where you got a guitar, some strings, plectrums, and a little Marshall pocket amp.
Sí, de amp.
I think every guitar player has one of them.
Exactamente, sí. Ahí es otra gran mentira, que en el Reino Unido, en Estados Unidos, todos empiezan con Fender. No empieza con Fender. Lo que nos estaban contando que, bueno, la mayoría empezaron con el tema de la guitarra y empezaron pidiéndole a la madre. Es como que iban probando un montón de cosas y realmente cuando eran chicos lo único que los atrapó era la guitarra, pese a ser difícil al principio tocar algo. Después, bueno, con data, info de amigos llegaron a tocar, pero lo que nos contaban que arrancaron con el starter pack, con la guitarra, el amplificador chiquito y a la mierda, listo, algo barato.
Sí.
¿Sigo? Dale. And can you tell us, there are any places to study music for free, or you have to pay always to study music?
To study? I don't know, there might be some schemes.
Yeah, there are some government funded schemes for young people.
Probably within schools,
like
probably,
college.
but as
It's free, isn't it?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You did like lessons.
Different. I guess.
Yeah, but in some schools, like they'll do short lessons, 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of private teachers, and I think it's quite expensive, to have like one-on-one lessons. So yeah, a lot of people, unless they have wealthy parents, they'll be resorting to YouTube videos probably.
Still do.
Yeah.
Exactly, we can understand that. Bueno, lo que nos dice que no es difícil, o sea, dan clases en los colegios, pero mayormente si quieres tomar clase uno en uno y aprender la guitarra bien, tenés que tener padres que tengan dinero para pagarlo, porque es extremadamente caro. And can you tell us, everybody, which were your first concert that you went?
I'll go first. Spice Girls.
Really?
Yeah, with my family.
Uh-huh.
My younger sister was a big fan. I was only 11, so I had to go. I enjoyed it.
And what on stadium? Big stadium?
Yeah, it was the Manchester Evening News Arena.
Ooh.
So he's big, yeah.
And which was your favorite Stargirl?
Ginger
Spice.
Ginger Spice. Still is.
Excellent.
Baby Spice.
And the others?
Yeah.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger?
Yeah.
Wow.
Goldfinger, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sheffield, I think Sheffield Lead Mill. So yeah.
Punk.
Punk, yeah, like I was like a OG punk. No way.
90s OG punk.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a great gig. Yeah.
And you went alone or with some friends?
My dad. Yeah. Yeah,
Really?
my dad took me. Yeah, we're pretty good. He took me to some
Wow.
decent gigs. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And the others?
I've got two answers. One that I went to was like a free concert as a kid, which was Party in the Park.
Same thing, yeah.
So there was like Gareth Gates on, but then the one that I chose to go to when I was 14 was Paramore, which was in an arena.
Paramore. Wow. And you like Paramore?
I love Paramore, yeah.
And
Have
why?
done since then. Sorry?
Why? Because Manu, hay una diferencia. I want to know because I'm older than you. I'm over 40, and there is a big difference between No Doubt and Paramore. I'm more No Doubt. You know?
I think for me at that age, when they were putting the music out at that time, I was really into that sort of scene, like the emo scene, I guess.
Okay.
But it was the scene, and that was sort of I don't know. I look back now and it's sort of introductory punk because it's like pop punk really. But now with the album that they put out last year, I love it. It's so
It is a good album.
fresh and just I was really surprised by it, and I really like what they did with it.
And that is another difference between Buenos Aires, because we think that Paramore in Buenos Aires is pop. It's not emo or nothing like that.
Yeah.
O sea,
Definitely.
Ahí está. Ahí está porque ellos afuera se escucha de otra manera Paramore, Manu, y es súper respetado. Es increíble.
Tienes tu opinión esa, Raúl.
Bueno, es mi opinión. Pero no es emo. Paramore en Argentina no es muy emo.
There is something Raúl don't tell to us. Raúl is a bass player, you know?
Sí, I'm a bass player and I have problems with music. He always make fun of that because I'm a guitar. He's a guitar player and I'm a bass player. I have different choices. We have different choices in music. Sí. And can you tell us how did GOO project begin and why you put that name?
Sam and Tanisha started it.
Yeah. We started it. It was meant to be with another friend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he didn't turn up, so we just started writing music. And before we had a name or anything, Kurt said that he would drum for us just to start us off, but that
To record a song.
Yeah,
to record
a
the only song you had.
but you never wanted to commit to the band. And it was Kurt who had the idea for the name GOO. He thought it was a cool
Yeah,
word for a band.
I had that name in my back pocket for years. I always thought it would be a good band name. But I'd been in the same bands for years, so I thought, well, I'll probably never be in another band, but I'll keep it just in case. And then it just seemed to fit the sound really well. So they had one song and the name, and that was kind of it. And that's how we started. And then lockdown happened. We had one song, one recording, and then lockdown. So the project didn't get started up again properly for another year, right?
Yeah.
But during the lockdown, because I have my own recording studio, we were writing and demoing songs when we were allowed out of the house. So by the time COVID had almost finished, we had 5 or 6 songs, and then we just started rehearsing and gigging straight away.
Oh, perfect. Bueno, lo que nos estaba contando es cómo empezó GOO, que bueno, había 3 miembros que estaban juntos y eran conocidos del baterista, le pidieron ayuda para una canción que tenían hecha, y bueno, resultó que quedó permanente el baterista, y lo que ellos decían que esa canción que tenían grabada, que empezaron a grabar, que es la que tenían, fue justo antes del lockdown, del encierro del COVID, y bueno, tuvieron un montón de problemas, pese a que el baterista tiene un estudio, tuvieron un montón de problemas problemas para ensayar, bueno, idas y venidas cuando los dejaban salir, y bueno, finalmente juntaron 5 canciones después del lockdown, y así fue como empezó GOO. Y aparte el nombre GOO, él lo tenía el baterista lo tenía en una mochila, en la parte de atrás escrito, y dijo que en el momento...
¿Es una palabra en inglés?
Sí, es una... It's a word, GOO, ¿no? It means something or not?
Yeah.
Goo, it means it's like slime, like jelly. I think jelly.
Yeah.
Okay.
GOO. Ahí está.
Soft, like sticky liquid.
Yeah,
or something
disgusting.
Like that.
And you were talking about the sound, because the GOO and the sound of the band is similar. Do you try to get some sound, or you get the sound that you want? Sorry, the sound that it comes out. You think about the sound.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think we come up, because we all write the songs together. We have so many ideas, but I think it becomes obvious just naturally which ideas will work and which won't. But the ideas that don't work, we usually keep them for later, and then sometimes they'll come back. Like the song Maladroit that you played just before, that's the first idea I wrote for the band, but at the time we didn't really like it. And then just recently it kind of came back around, and we thought, cool, let's do it now.
Okay.
So it just depends on the time, I guess.
But you came for example on the bass or on the guitar, you came with maybe for this song this sound, or it comes later?
I think, like Kurt said, we all kind of write together, but we also bring like like each of us might bring the skeleton of a song, which might be on like an acoustic guitar, or like, you know, electric guitar, or, you know, something. So the start of the song always sounds really basic, and I think when we all kind of chime in with our own ideas, then it becomes a GOO song. So I don't think we really start out, because we don't know how it's going to end up, you know. So it can be like the bare bones, like I said, bare bones of a song, a few chords, and then we all bring it together, and it just naturally ends up sounding like the band.
Perfecto. Bueno, lo que nos estaba diciendo que tiene una manera de componer muy simple, que quizás a veces empieza con una guitarra criolla y después, bueno, el proceso va creciendo a medida que deciden trabajar con esa canción, y se va formando la canción, pero que ya tienen como ya les sale casi naturalmente ya para dónde va el sonido. Sorry the question, but I think that I hate Green Day, you know, but when you play Green Day, you realize that they are really complex, no, in the sound and in the groups and that kind of things. You search for that, or is not important? Because sorry, I think that GOO is really easy to listen, and I like that, because that is punk. It's like puff. Here you have the song, but then when you keep on listening to that, this is hard to play, this is not easy, and the sound is really incredible. So you try to get on that way.
I don't think so. I think it's organic. Yeah. Sometimes the songs are simple, or sometimes, you know, they're a little tricky, but we're not trying to make it tricky.
Perfect.
Or trying to make it easy. It's just we kind of serve the song.
Yeah.
You know, do what's right for the song.
I think like the majority of the parts are pretty simple, you know, like except for the drums maybe. Like most of the parts are quite, you know, they sit in their own place in the mix, but then that's why sometimes it sounds complicated, because everything has its own place, and then together it's like bigger than, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So it sounds more complicated than it really is, you know?
Ahí está. Bueno, lo que nos súper interesante lo que nos están, porque nos metimos en el método de composición de una banda punk, Manu, o medio parecido, y no es tan simple, viste, hacer canciones punk. Lo que ellos decían que realmente es súper orgánico todo, pero la suma de todo, sí, quizás parece algo mucho más grande, pero que son partecitas simples que se van pegando y la suma sí suena muy bien y diferente. El total está bueno. In May of this year you release a vinyl, vinilo, and vinyl. Why do you choose to make that?
It's cool. I don't know, because we all like records. We all collect records, and for me, I'm only talking from my experience. But when I go to see a band, especially a small band, I like to take something home with me. So I think for me, it was always obvious that we would just do it. I never thought that doing a vinyl would be. What's the word? It just seemed obvious.
Yeah.
Like I didn't question. I thought we'll do a vinyl. Okay.
It's popular now, isn't it? As well, it's like vinyl's like getting quite popular. I mean, in England anyway, but like a lot more people have record players now. And probably like the people in a lot of places that we'd be playing, you know, like Leeds. A lot of people buy records and have record players, so it sort of makes sense to put out records.
Yeah.
Leeds have a big
por el
scene, ¿no?
costo, por favor.
¿Cómo? Manu wants to know el costo de producción o el costo o el valor del vinilo.
Estás hablando en castellano.
No, para vos te estoy preguntando el costo de hacerlo.
No, ¿cuánto sale hacer vinilos allá si es algo barato?
Está. Manu wants to know if in your case in England it's cheap or is it expensive to make a vinyl?
Expensive.
Expensive, yeah. Very expensive.
But it's we did a 10-inch for the Chomp EP, and that's expensive. But if you buy 200 copies, you can make money on it in the long run. It's kind of like a deposit almost. But 7-inch records, there's no money to be made. It's more of a passion project, I guess.
Perfect, nice.
Bueno,
Sí.
Congratulations for that, congratulations.
Sí, we are really happy to meet you.
¿Puedo meter un bocado?
Sí, because it's beautiful to the way that you explain the process of each thing, you know. Sí, decime, Manu.
I love the song Rush, and I wanna talk about the guitar sound because it have two different sound and no aturde. ¿Cómo se dice aturdir? En ningún momento. Bueno.
No.
And you keep in the same level of volume, you know, the two different sound of guitar. How do you do that? Is like a pedal of distortion different? How do you do that? Two sound very different along the song.
I think when we recorded that song with the producer that we work with, Andy Hawkins, and he's really good at kind of not like. It basically has a lot of toys that we can play with, and you know we bring out our own pedals and stuff, and he might say, oh that might not work for this part. So in my case personally, I had all my setup ready, and he said, oh, for the fuzz, use this fuzz pedal called the Pharaoh, and I remember specifically trying it out and loving it, and since then I've got one myself because I loved it so much, but it took a while to get one. But yeah, for the fuzz tone, it's just all this Pharaoh pedal.
And you tune in a standard because that sound sent me to the disc, the CD GOO from Sonic Youth, and I think your influence go back to that way, to Sonic Youth and that kind of band. You tune in a standard or you tune weird like
standard, yeah.
You have a very weird sound with a standard tune. That's excellent, man.
Muy bueno.
Okay, very well.
Thank you. Yeah.
They play hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why it sounds saturated and big, because downstroke punk.
Perfecto. Sí, son gente que toca fuerte. How do you define your music? I have to say that question.
Do we like it?
No, where do we find it? Oh, where is it? Where is our music available? Is that what you mean?
Oh, yeah.
No. How do you define your music? Which genre? It's like punk, not punk? Because I think that is more oriented to Green Day, and Manu says Sonic Youth, completely different. So
Cool. Yeah, well, in indie punk.
Indie punk.
Yeah, that's the term that kind of other people have come up with when we've got a review, or if someone has booked us for a gig, they'll put indie punk on the poster. So we've adopted that from their perspective. So yeah,
that's what describes us best.
Es la primera vez que escuchamos el indie punk.
Indie punk, sí, no, pero súper sólidos, son súper sólidos,
Sí,
la tienen recontra clara, mano, muy bueno, muy bueno. We are going to close the interview, just some few more questions. Can you tell us something about the UK or maybe the Keighley scene? How do you feel about the actual punk and rock scene in the UK?
There's a lot of with where we're from, Keighley. It's a small town, but there always seems to be kind of like ups and downs with bands that are kind of coming through. So you might have a few years where the scene's great and there's loads of bands to kind of to kind of bounce off, and then there might be a couple of years where there's less than 5. But where we all used to work or hang out is the Exchange, and that was kind of a good window to kind of see what bands were happening. And there's another place in Keighley now called Studio 5, which we all kind of naturally kind of go to, and that's kind of seen the resurgence of bands. Now that place is open and it's amazing. But if you go kind of further out like Bradford or Leeds, then there's plenty of bands. I think there's that we always kind of meet and want to play with, and vice versa. So yeah, it's up and down, but it's never empty.
But places like Studio 5, they are big places or small places, like 100 people or 1,000?
So it's 150 people, so it's quite small. But that's all we have in our town. But yeah, like Sam was saying, when we go to the local cities, that's when there's bigger venues available.
There's been a lot of small venues that are closing down around the UK, especially after COVID. A lot of venues have struggled to get through that. But there's other venues opening as well. But it seems, I don't know, hard to get gigs around the UK from our perspective. We've actually played more around Europe than the UK because it's easier to get a gig.
Wow.
Maybe it's because we just don't know anybody in the UK, but in November we're going to do some actual touring and see some new places and meet some new people.
And bueno, lo que nos estaba contando, le pregunté un poco sobre la escena actual de Keighley, de su lugar o de Leeds, que es una ciudad más grande que está al lado, y lo que nos decía que hay 2 lugares, uno se llama Exchange y otro Studio 5, Studio 5, que son lugares a donde ellos frecuentan, digamos, en su pueblo, que son lugares más rockeros, y lo que nos dice que son más o menos de 150 personas. Después, en las ciudades más grandes hay lugares más grandes, y les resulta difícil después del COVID porque hay un montón de lugares que cerraron y que van abriendo de a poco, pero les resulta más fácil conseguir giras en Europa que puntualmente en el Reino Unido. Le quería hacer una última pregunta a Manu. And Studio 5, it's open every day or only on weekends?
Only on weekends where they have events. Yeah, it's not like it's the building that it's in as well. It's not like easily accessible just off the street, so it's not somewhere where people would just stop by. It's kind of out the way a bit, but yes, it's a popular venue for local events.
Also as well, kind of going back to the band thing, like how many there are around at a certain point. What Studio 5 is attached to, which is owned by the same people, it's like a rehearsal studio as well. Okay. So there's I think there's 4 or 5 studios, so bands pass through there every day. That's open pretty
perfect.
much daily.
And
on the weekends, they play. So
there's a lot, and then you can advertise your gig or your band if your band wants a drummer or whatever. Or it's a good kind of hub for Keighley bands. So it's doing well at the moment.
In Buenos Aires, in the lockdown or in the COVID, they play live in the studios. And it was a complete mess on Sunday, maybe. Sabía Manu lo de la sala de ensayo que abrieron en el COVID, se armaba cada quilombo. Everyone drank in the studio and it was completely messy in Buenos Aires.
Sounds good.
Raúl, ¿cómo se dice ensayar?
Rehearsal. Rehearsal.
Okay. I want to talk about a little of music with you guys because I say everything that I always say that the American, the United States have the best musicians, but the UK have the best team, the best groups. You know, how is the way you? First of all, I want to talk if you are agree with that, and I want to talk about the rehearsal, about los ensayos, ¿no? Sí. About your rehearsal. You spend many times together, or you rehearsal alone in your house, and then you meet as a group. How do you define that?
Yeah.
Well, rehearsal. We're in the rehearsal space now.
This is where we rehearse.
Yeah. Nice.
We rehearse just once a week because we try to, gig as often as we can. But the majority of the writing is done together. Mm-hmm. Someone will always bring an idea because I think it's weird to start from nothing.
Yeah.
Someone will bring an idea and we send ideas on WhatsApp.
Okay.
And then we get together and make it happen. It always sounds completely different as well.
Yeah.
Once we all put our input in, but that's why it's good. That's what makes it a band composition.
Excelente. Ahí está
todo en grupo.
La
Pero
definición.
Es que son grupo, boludo.
Sí, son una banda y aparte de lo que nos decían, bueno, se juntan no solo una vez por semana, pero sí tocan mucho. Así que se pasan ideas por WhatsApp durante la semana, llegan con alguna idea nueva, ensayan, tienen su propio local de ensayo, su lugar de ensayo y tocan mucho en vivo.
My last question is about that kind of stuff, like Fruity Loops, Ableton. You are open for that kind of tools or not?
Like using laptops in the performance, you mean?
That kind of things. Mixing with electronic and...
Not right now.
We've not really talked about it, have we? But like, if we ever did anything like that, it'd probably be like a novelty, like a one-off, maybe.
Yeah.
Like we do have synthesizers in some tracks, don't we?
Yeah.
It's like GOO. There's like a weird little lo-fi kind of piano thing that has like a square wave sound.
Yeah.
It sounds like an old like circuit bent instrument or something, doesn't it? So we use that in one of the tracks, but nothing like complicated, like Ableton stuff.
No, okay. Yeah, we don't use any backing tracks or anything. No click track live. Because a lot of bands in the UK, I'm a sound engineer, so I work with a lot of bands, and the vast majority of bands use click tracks in ears. And backing tracks and stuff, and we don't do any of that. In the studio we'll use a click track, but live, it's all a lot faster than it should be. Because I get excited. But it's not out of the question to use anything like drum loops or anything, but not now, not yet.
Yeah.
Album 3.
Album 3. Yes.
And what is that sound in the beginning of Maladuit? It's like a weird. What is that?
That's one of my pedals. It's the solid state echo chamber, which is like an absolutely crazy pedal. So it's got like a fader, and you can kind of there's like a regeneration knob, and you turn that all the way up and kind of just manipulate the sound with the fader. And doing it live is quite tricky. I think I've only just mastered it because there's a lot going on. Having to do that with one hand and then stand up and play the fastest song that we play.
Although the recorded version, funnily enough, that's a production technique, because you didn't do that. It was just one noise, and I used Logic to speed up the sound.
Yeah.
And then we've recreated it live.
Yeah.
It does sound like it on the...
It does sound the same. It's just it's very scary when we play that song for many reasons, and that's one of them.
Excellent. I thought it was a house pad or something like that.
Excelente.
Ahí va.
Lo saben.
Dale vos, Raúl.
Sí, tienen una... You have a level of information too much information. It's incredible. It's incredible. No, we are really happy to meet you. Thanks for your time. We keep in touch, and maybe we can send some friends to play in Europe and that kind of things to you to make more gigs, you know. And it was really nice to meet you. So we are going to finish the interview. We are going to listen to You Are in Mono. So, can you explain that song? Why you put that name and what does the lyrics talk about?
Kurt?
The lyrics, they're kind of about the rise of the rise in popularity of like right-wing politics in the UK or anywhere really, but more about when your friends or family start to think like that. From they were on the left or in the centre, they start to move to the right, and it's more about how to navigate your relationship with them without destroying the relationship. You know, it's a dilemma.
It happens everywhere. That perfect. And You Are in Mono. Perfect. Now we can understand the name and everything. Perfect. Really nice to meet you. Thanks for your time, and we keep in touch. Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Guys, see you later.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.